and welcome to another video from oorail. In front of me here we have the Bachmann Derby Lightweight. This is the dummy car, and there's not much to it, and it's relatively easy to take apart. If I show you real quick here, the steps that are involved. Basically, there's a screw here on the underside near the cab, and you undo that screw, and then basically here in this diagram it shows you where the clips are. And you can see here the clips are there, 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 and there. And you basically do the usual thing. You take your fingertips and just pry away the body shell very, very carefully, starting at the cab end and working your way down. The reason you start at the cab end is, if you see here on the rear end of it, there's a clip that holds it in place as well. So when you get all these popped off, you have it like so. You just kind of angle it backwards and pull it off, and it's relatively easy to do. So there might be a couple of reasons why you want to open this. The reason I'm opening it is you may have seen the advent calendar videos, the one for December 6th, Saturday. It had the Derby Lightweight, and if you were paying really close attention to some of those shots, you would see that it was leaning at a bit of an angle. And the reason it was leaning at a bit of an angle has to do with its rather clever design. So I'm going to show you how the design works first, and then I'll explain to you exactly what the problem is. So both of the cars are lighted on the inside with LEDs. They're fantastic models. The fact that the lighting is so good, you probably want to maybe spruce up the interior seats, maybe add a little bit of detail, definitely add some people. This is a loco, it's got really big windows on it, so it's very, very noticeable that there's no people in it and no driver in it. So while I'm not a big fan of putting drivers and people in locomotives, this particular locomotive could probably do with it, so I will probably try to find some very higher quality looking people to put in it. So if anybody has any recommendations, please put it in the comments below. But yeah, so basically it was leaning on its side, so it's actually a really clever design. In order to get contact with the wheels and with the track, it actually uses the system where you can see there's two prongs, and they make contact with the wheels, and it has the usual kind of hook and clasp Bachmann coupling that we've seen on a lot of their DMUs and EMUs. It's a very nice locomotive. However, these things here, these two prongs, they make contact right here with these two copper plates on the inside. So basically it goes like that, and it just makes contact, right? But with ours, it was kind of leaning to one side, right? So it was, the loco is basically, kind of doing this. So the reason it's doing that is it requires both of these copper contacts to be perfectly level, otherwise the loco will basically tip over, or at least lean. So if you look here at mine, this one is perfectly fine, but this one's actually bent. It's you can see sort of there, I don't know if it's easy enough to see now, you can sort of see it's kind of basically just bent downwards instead of this one, which is quite happily pointing up. So we're going to fix that with a pliers basically, and hopefully we can, might even need pliers. As you can see there, I may have just fixed it with a screwdriver. You see it's pretty fragile. It's not, this joint right here is pretty thin, so you don't want to exert too much pressure on it, but basically just want to just push it up a little bit, and it looks like that might have fixed it. So but yeah, basically it was causing it to lean, so the bogie basically wasn't straight. I first of all checked to make sure it wasn't the two prongs here, but these are perfectly straight, and that was very noticeably bent, the left one. So so yeah, I mean, you can see here, you can, plenty of room to put drivers, plenty of room to maybe spruce up the actually the driver sections in there, so you're gonna have to take it apart further in order to put a driver in there. It might be a little tricky. We'll leave that for another video. But for these, putting the passengers in, it wouldn't be too hard. Alright, so I'm going to go put this back together and we'll see if it's now behaving itself. Reassembling it is quite simple. There's 2 screws, one here and one at the back here that basically put the seats on, and you've got 2 as well if you take off the front seats. And then you basically just flip it over, and there's 2 screws. There's one there that hold the bogies on. You just have to be careful that you line up the 2 prongs like I showed you before you start to screw that in. And it's pretty straightforward, and I'm already able to tell that it looks like it's all straightened out. So the next thing to do is to basically line up the body shell and drop it in place. So this is going to be a little tight because it is pretty new. Basically get to line up the front LEDs and then firmly just push here, here, and here at the back. It does take a little bit of pressure, but it does click in. And then basically you put this screw back in. After, of course, making sure it lined up, and then put the front bogie back on. So you want to make sure that it's first of all lined up with the screw hole properly. Then you also want to make sure it's lining up with the those prongs as well. And then we just play this game of cat and mouse with the screwdriver. This is a little trickier to do when it is also magnetized. That's interesting. Something in there is magnetized. Alright, so there you have it. It's back together. It appears to be no longer leaning as badly as it is, or it was. So I'm going to go try it out on the track. Alright, well I hope you found this video useful, and until next time.